Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm your host, Bob DeMarco. Coming up, another knife from the legendary team-up of Alan Fultz and CRKT. We take a look at 5 new budget slip joints in my collection. And then I ask the question, is your winter EDC different? Are you carrying different things now that the cold weather is coming around and your wardrobe is changing? Does that mean that your loadout changes? Of course, I'm speaking from the perspective of knives, but is all your other heavy stuff coming back into play? Sunbun, great to have you here. I EDC my Winkler belt knife. Nice, mostly in the winter, and I keep it razor sharp. Man, what a nice choice, man. I just had a Winkler, the Survival Striker, in here for about, 2 months or so. Mr. Fileto generously loaned that to me. What a great knife that Winkler is. Hey, David, good to have you here. 9198, David. Byron Kennedy, great to have you here, Byron. Thank you for joining us. We have the guys from Shredder. Great to have you here. And Caleb Townsend. And I know I missed someone way back. So Chad, Scott. Hey, Scott, good to have you here. Chad, always a pleasure. We got a full house tonight. We got G-Man. How's it going, man? Just talking, we haven't really begun anything. I'm gonna launch right into a pocket check because it's kind of in keeping with tonight's theme. Is your winter EDC different? And of course, mine is, and that's why I'm bringing it up. I want to see if other people are like me. But today I had to wear, some nice clothes for work, and so that meant no big, giant, bulky knives on me. So today I carried the Crystal Aurora. What a great knife. Really nice blade size at, 3.6 inches, I believe. So really nice blade size. I love the blade shape. Very extremely sharp. It scratches a lot of itches. Titanium, great action, both going out and then coming in. It's got this nice hydraulic thing coming in, this nice bearing action going out, that great fuller, everything about it. And it's nice and light and thin. And today that was the ticket. That's what I needed. Nice and light and thin. So just a great knife. This one I got this from Levon of the Knife Nuts podcast, and utilizing his new, or I should say patronizing his new import business, importing awesome knives from Russia, this being one of them. So I had this in my pocket. And then the other thing, now that fall is here, I'm back to slip joints again. And I'm just kind of gone down that path. And this is one of the 5 new budget slip joints we're going to take a look at tonight later. But I was carrying this today, and this is a Copperhead from Roughrider. And there are certain models, I think this is how it works. There are certain models that Roughrider seems to pour their attention into. From what I've experienced, their bow trapper is just a cut above. This one is a cut above as well. Just really really nicely made. Definitely no gapping. Really very nice action on this. Nice walk and talk, nearly flat springs on the half stop, which is definitely not necessary and definitely rare on a $16 knife. I think this was excellent. So this is a Copperhead. What makes this a Copperhead is that bolster. First of all, that front bolster, the way it comes up, it almost acts as a finger guard. The way it swells up here. Also, it adds a little width this way, making it a sturdier, steadier knife for work. Kind of the way the bolster on the Barlow kind of really solidifies that knife as a solid work knife. Anyway, this has the blade set of a pocket hunter, except it's just a small knife. And it looks a bit like the pocket hunter. Okay, so I'm sorry. This has the blade set of the folding hunter, traditionally a very large knife of 4 1/4 inch blades. One of them being a clip point like this, and then one of them being a long, slender sort of skinning blade. So that's this Copperhead is that knife shrunk down, basically. And Case pulled out of the vault last year. They pulled out they called it the Pocket Hunter, and it looked just like this. It's very, very, very similar. So anyway, this was my secondary knife today. This was the knife that I actually was fidgeting the most with today. And just really appreciating the walk and talk and the fit and finish and just the workmanship of this very inexpensive knife. I really like it. So there you have it. And I've been jonesing for new patterns recently. And instead of trying desperately to get my hands on GEC patterns, I've been just doing the Roughrider thing and getting my hands on a bunch of them for less and just seeing what I like. And I do like the Roughriders, I must say. So what about you? What were you carrying today? I mean, here I am just sitting here blabbing, talking about the knives I was carrying. But what about you? I know you were carrying something cool. So what was it? Did you have and you know, I was talking before about a wardrobe change and all that. This is back in the pocket because I'm not wearing thin shorts anymore. I'm back to jeans. I'm back to carpenter pants and things like that. And that kind of sturdier, heavier material can stand up to something like this in the pocket. So what are you carrying? Let me know. Was it something that you carry often? Is this like your usual thing today, or were you onto something different? Speaking of something different, let me show you another one of these little Roughriders I got in this last little batch. This is a micro Barlow. This thing is, I think they just call it a mini, but it is very small. It's about the size of a peanut, and it's in white smooth bone, which is quickly becoming one of my favorite materials. I really do love white smooth bone, smooth white bone. This one has the single clip point blade and that nice long bolster. And yeah, 440A. That's what they run on most of the Roughriders, 440A. So had this, this came in the box, and I'll show the rest of these in a few minutes. But yeah, let me know what you're carrying. I want to know because we also have a giveaway tonight that I would like to get to. We're giving away the Finch knife, the Finch Devil's Finger. Yours will be black blade and green. And I ordered it Tuesday, I was telling Jim, so it should be here tomorrow, and I will turn it right around, get it out to whoever the lucky winner is tonight. But yeah, look at this great thing. Such a great knife. And we're talking about traditional and you know, so this is modern, but shows a bit of the traditional flair. Looks like we're having a bit of trouble with the chat tonight. So as I keep talking and Jim keeps working through that, we'll try and get your chats up on screen. So this isn't such a one-sided conversation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so this will be the knife we give away. Not this one in particular. This one is mine. I was a little late on the draw ordering, I must admit, and then I gotta say the week got away with me, and boom, here we are. So I will have this tomorrow, and I will turn it around and get it right out to you. But we'll talk about that in a second. I'm going to wait for a minute before we get to that because I would really like to have the chat up and going for the giveaway. So as we talk a little bit about pocket checking, I want to show you a couple of the things. I didn't mean to say use, but it sounded like I want to show you guys some of the cool stuff, some of the stuff I have out in front of me. And the first thing is the Keen Natter, which was on loan to me from Dave, this Old Sword Blade Reviews, and he actually gave this sucker to me, and I'm so psyched. This is a really, really nice knife, and takes excellent advantage of the blade geometry. Not only the hollow grind on that main primary recurve edge here, but then the flat grind up here on the forward portion. So a recurve tanto that really isn't just about looks. It is really an excellent knife and cutter, and I'm really psyched to have this. He donated it to the channel, and I couldn't help but think maybe that means this should be what does Nuttin Fancy say? He used to say a cast member. Maybe this should be a cast member of the ensemble that is my knife collection, so that when I need to talk about recurve tantos or civivis, I can just pull this out instead of taking this as a donation that I use for the channel. Maybe I take it as a donation that I use for the collection. The Finch Devil's Finger is awesome, says Scott N. Looks like we have our chat back up. Yes, it is. I agree. Hey, that fellow there. Great to have you here, sir. I am a convert to the CRK Tanto, by the way, and a lot of that has to do with your constant carry of that knife this year. That's right. That fellow there is carrying the same knife every day for a whole year. That doesn't mean he can't come home and change it up, but his main knife during the day is a Tanto Chris Reeve Knives sub-ends. Evening, Ryan. Great to have North Code here, 1229. Shane Gables, always a pleasure, Shane. I ordered my first Roughrider today, the Blackbeard large lockback. Oh, cool. Awesome. You know, I've been a little bit curious about their lockbacks. They have a new lockback in their Roughrider Reserve line. I have not gotten any Roughrider Reserves yet. They seem a little weird. I'm not crazy about the designs they've chosen for the Reserve, except now their latest release, I like them with that sway back. We have Dave in the house. Dave, good to have you here. This old sword blade reviews, carrying the new model Williamson Copenhagen Chibs liner lock tactical carry. Those Williamson, Mikkel Williamson designs some really cool knives. I can't wait to see that, Dave. I know Dave will have a review of that up post haste. Dave has an awesome collection and a really, really excellent YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with it, definitely go look up This Old Sword Blade Reviews. 9198, David, good to have you. Les George VSEP in XHP and Hinderer XM18 3.5 Spanto skinny on me today. Jeez, high roller. David, I pulled this out tonight. I was feeling moved to pull this out, and I think maybe you and I were on the same wavelength. This is my VSEP. This is also an XHP steel. Different clip than the original. I do have that original spoon clip, kind of wide and obnoxious. Blade Hobby, good to have you here. Today I have my Cold Steel Formax Scout that I have the blade, modified into a Bowie. Nice. And the 0640 ZT with fat carbon, nice. Arctic Storm scales made by Sharp Dress Knives. Funny, Blade Hobby, you and I were on the same wavelength too, because I pulled out this Formax Scout, and I also pulled out this, where the hell is it? My 640. I don't have fat carbon, so we're not that zoned in, but I have a different clip, and I have my Carta. That split pea soup carbon fiber, I liked it at first, and then I just stopped liking carbon fiber altogether. Byron says, an odd couple, a Cobalt razor blade carpet cutter with a push button lock and a Leatherman signal. Interesting. Those Cobalt push button knives are interesting. I have a Milwaukee, and I think it's the same knife, just instead of blue, it's red, and it is a push button deploy only. And then it's not a push button lock. It's a liner lock. So it's kind of like that, but weird. Those hardware store knives are pretty cool, though. JN, good to see you, JN. DLT S90V PM2 ODG. Carbon fiber S90V Native Chief. We've seen that one a bunch of times. That's a favorite of JN's. And the Rex 45 Native Chief, Alphabet Town. Yeah, no kidding, man. All you need is something in there of 8CR13 MOV. No, you don't. Snuzz Nuzz, good to see Snuzz Nuzz here. Sometimes a good traditional makes a fine worry stone. I agree with you. The textures and the covers work out nicely. I agree with you, Snuzz. Not only in terms of the tactile feeling of having them be worry stones, but when you look closely at the, especially bone for me, these bone scales, bone covers, I mean, just the variation of the colors, and you can really zone out and get a little lost looking at them. So, I mean, I think traditionals are great in the pocket for lots of things. Cutting too. Chief among them, cutting. This is a queen from the new-ish Queen cutlery line, and I mostly love it. We'll talk about that in a little while. Chad got my Brandon Park custom fixed blade today, so I'm carrying it. Brandon Park custom fixed blade. Chad, I'm curious. Describe that knife. Is it an EDC knife? Is it a fighting knife? Is it an outdoorsy kind of knife? Describe what that custom knife is. I'm curious because that name right off the bat doesn't elicit any images in my mind. That fellow there says, "Hey folks." Oh, I think we've already seen that one. Hey folks. And then Devil's Finger is awesome. Scott N. Yes, sir. Agreed. Rusty, good to see Rusty here. I really like the classic Carbon 2 series. Picked up the Half Hawk. Yes. Okay, so this is I think this is the same series. This is a carbon with these are carbon steel blades on a micarta, like denim micarta scaled knife. Really like this. This is a moose, so it's got the clip point on that side. Big and sharp clip point, and then look at this incredible spay blade. Just love the look of that spay blade. Carrying the Hogue Ritter RSK Mark 1 G2. Nice. Very, very nice. You know we love that knife right here on this channel. Ezekiel and Jonathan, we are carrying the new Banshee by Damn Designs. Very cool. And the Shredder's first knife. Oh yeah, he designed it himself. The Shredder Tree Chopper. Love the name. Yes. Congratulations, man. That is super cool. That's quite an accomplishment, especially for a young guy. I mean, to design the knife and then figure out a way to have it made. Good for you, man. I can't cheer you on enough. It's a very auspicious beginning to a lifetime in knives. JN says the Tree Chopper. Heck yeah, Shredder guys. And that fellow there says carrying the Spartan Harzy folder in DLC skull pattern. That must have been after you got home, right? Or did that challenge end, or did you kind of give that one up? I'm curious about that. The one knife for 1 year challenge. I'm curious if that's still hanging in, if you're still hanging in there with that. Rusty says, still think the Tree Shredder, yeah, would be a great name. Yeah, you're right about that. Tree Shredder would work. That's awesome. Becca, good to see you here. Hey, broskies. Today in pocket is Latimer Waltz classic dagger with bone handle. Ooh, 28 centimeters. I love it. I don't know that one in particular, but I love everything that you wrote in that sentence. It's a pocket dagger. Sounds awesome. Tall ship, tall guy. Good to have you here. Hello all, he says. I like the eye. Very nice. Is that the MC Escher eye? Max the Maker. Good to have Max here. On the belt is my only fixed blade besides Amora, my new White River Knives Firecraft 3.5, used to cut some apples and cheese. In the pocket, CQC 11K and Razzlecliffe, both not used. Now, Max the Maker, this surprises me because on a weekly basis, you'll let us know what you were using your EDC for, and oftentimes it's somewhat it's like real chores, cut the chicken wire around the coop or whatever it is. I mean, I know you've done some you've mentioned some pretty hardcore tasks with your knife. It surprises me that you only have 2 fixed blades, and I like your choices for sure. Shredder, Rusty. Oh man, that's a great name. The Tree Shredder, maybe the next one. Yeah, definitely the Tree Shredder. Don't forget. You got to mention Rusty somewhere in there. Mr. G from VT ordered a Kaiser Mini Critical today. Oh, so cool. Love that knife. The Critical, I always thought that was kind of an underappreciated knife. That's a Matthew Christensen. And then it had a second life with the smaller version with all the different scales and all that. Very nice order there. Chaz says, got the Finch Cherry Bomb from them on Friday. Very nice. I got to get my hands on the Cherry Bomb. And oddly enough, I don't think I want the red. I think I want that swirly black. That looks kind of cool. But you know, the Finch knives seem to follow two different what do you want to say? I don't know, two different patterns like this. And then the other two are over there, and I'm sorry I don't have them to pull out here, but where it's just the solid handle material like micarta or G10, and then the ones where they have they're sort of less contoured in cross section. They're a little more squared off. They have bolsters. They're bolster locks. So there's, I guess, 3 of each that I know of, and the Cherry Bomb is in the other style, with the bolsters and the sort of squared off cross section. Hollywood Tactical, good to see you here. Knife Junkie, not sure I change my EDC much. Weather is pretty much stable and warm here in SoCal. At least in the San Francisco Bay Area, we had bigger change of weather. Haven't lived in snow since Deutschland. So, that's interesting. I didn't think about that. If you're in a more temperate zone like that, you're going to be locked in pretty much year round. Tall ship, tall guy carried his Penguin today. Another knife I need to get. Speaking of denim micarta. Shane Gables, today I carried my Microtech Death on Contact and my S90V Native Chief. Very nice, man. Those DOCs are cool. How's the clip on that? I remember the clip being an issue, like a comfort issue on that. I also remember thinking, DOC, man, if you ever need to use that to defend yourself and you end up in court, well, what were you using, sir? Oh, it's a knife I use for work. What's it called? It's called the Death on Contact. Hollywood Tactical, Roughrider's Celestial series and Copper Swirls look really nice. And they are slightly glow in the dark. Oh, very cool. Oh, really? One of your sub collections. That's cool. Yeah, the Celestial series looks really nice. I had one in my shopping cart from Smoky Mountain Knife Works, a large Stockman with all that implies, and then it got booted out. You know, couldn't buy everything. Couldn't buy all the knives from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. K Mason said, "Hey, yous guys, been listening in, carrying the smock today. Very nice, very nice. That smock, I can't tell if I love it or hate it. I don't own one, so that would change my mind. But sometimes I think it's really cool looking. Other times I think it's pretty ugly. I always like the blade though. Sometimes it's the handle that throws me off. Hawaii Knife and Gear, great to have you here. Hey guys, he says. Hope all is well out in Hawaii. Shane says, I rarely carry my smock. I love it, but I tend to forget it. I know what you mean. Like, and that's one of those things, and we've talked about that on the show here, Shane, where you're totally pumped to get something. It shows up and you're like, you're already on to the next thing, or maybe it just left you cold. The pictures didn't do it justice. EDC'd my Workerman Knives exclusive brown micarta sway back again. Workerman Knives, is that what that is? Or wingman maybe. Snuz. I rotate through my knives. When it's cold, I gravitate towards wood scales and warm feels. The biggest change for me, I carry a hobo knife more and more for lunch since I eat warm foods. Snuz, that is a classy move, man. I like that. A hobo knife. I think that's a classy move. I have I think I may have mentioned it before. I have an irrational hatred for plastic silverware. I hate plastic silverware. Like, I don't mind plastic straws. I don't mind plastic soda lids. There's a lot of stuff I don't, just don't think about. But for some reason, I'm like, why plastic silverware? Why don't we all just have a fork and knife? And, so I keep those little spoon, fork, knife things on me. And, but I like the idea of a hobo knife. It's the old school version of these little, REI spoon things. So I do have to get off my butt and get myself a hobo knife. Very classy. Caleb says, I had the custom knife factory Brutus and the Spyderco Delica in my pocket today. I like that. Spyderco Delica is one of the best secondary blades for sure. Secondary knife blades. Oh, excuse me. Sean M. Good to see you, Sean. I use my Leatherman Wave literally every day in my art workshop. Ooh, I'd be interested to find out about your art workshop and what kind of stuff you do there. Chad, it is an EDC knife. Lisa designed it and he made it. I sent, oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Love it. See, okay, so Chad and James White and a number of people have been showing me the work they're doing, the knives they're making, and it's impressive to me. Also, Chris with his Bowie, it's impressive to me that people are doing that, just like with whatever they've got, and then a little bit more, and it's impressive. And I got to get off my butt, and I have a bunch of blanks that I cut out and just need to be worked on. Well, I do carry more stainless over carbon when I'm working outside. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. But you guys live in sort of that California temperate zone too, don't you? Packing the new Kevin Foster Angler tonight. Ooh, I'd like to see what that looks like. Winter carry will have me carrying more fixed blades. Yes, in my Scott vest tactical jacket with 30 plus pockets. I love it. Yeah. Oh, this pocket is nice and slender. I can put the CRKT Executive in this one. Oh, this one's nice and fat. I can put the XM24. It fits in there. Yeah, I love that. And I too carry more fixed blades. The more clothes I can carry to be discreet. With them. Blade Orger says, carried my new Red Horse Hellraiser. Nice. P. M. Custa Katana. Nice. Asher Full Tie Spiro today. Very nice on all three of those. That Red Horse, is that the one without the holes in the blade? There's one model, and I think it might be automatic, that does not have holes in the blade. And those, sometimes when we're talking about knives that are expensive, I can find the littlest things that turn me off, and then that's a deal breaker. It's kind of like Seinfeld, I don't know if anyone here watched Seinfeld back in the day, but they're always kind of self-sabotaging their quest for love, and they'd meet some seemingly perfect person, and something about their hands or their voice or their shirt or something would turn them off. Well, that's a good thing when it comes to knives, because you can save a lot of money that way. And those little dumb holes in the Red Horse knife stopped me from getting that for a long time. And then recently I saw this model without the holes, and I was like, oh God, what am I going to do? I got to get it now. That fellow there, I ended the challenge on day 66. My new Eclipse was too enticing. Honestly, what I like most about knife collecting is the variety, and the steady EDC, even with caveats, just didn't cut it. Hey, man, believe me, I get it. I get it. Variety is truly the spice of life. Blade Freak, good to see Blade Freak here. Just sold my Fullard Spear XM18 and grabbed the Spartan Harsey folder. Nice. Forgotten Country Edition for the same money. Feeling pretty good about it. Very nice. Blade Freak is very disciplined. He keeps a rotation of about 10 to 12 knives. And when a new one comes in, one has to leave. And I very, very much respect that. So that's cool. But I thought that Fullard Hinderer, I thought that was in there for good. G-Man, good to see G-Man. I have the TRM DLC Adam and Z-Wear Shaman today. Very nice. I have my DLC Adam close at hand. Probably been one of my most carried knives, since summertime. Been carrying an Extrema Ratio, says Hag. Hag, good to have you here. Those Extreme Ratio knives are cool, I gotta say. I'd love to get that patata, that big old patata from them. Would be very cool. Chris says, yes, been wanting the Hellraiser for years. Well, nicely done. It's always good to have that. Hellraiser is a cool design. Yes, it is. James, good to see you here. James Moore is with us, everybody. Hag, I'm going to be carrying my Swiss Army knife, U.S. knife. My Swiss Army knife, U.S. knife. I've been getting into the Swiss Army knives. I think it has to do with just getting back into slip joints. Try White Mountain for a good price. That's where I got mine. Okay. All right. White Mountain Knives. Very, very nice. Very cool place. Bob, I don't think I can participate in the main topic tonight. In Southern California, we don't have winter. Yeah, man, I hear you. A number of people have said that. So I would say your EDC does not change it. There's no reason to, unless you're just a seasonal kind of guy. Same, James. I'm near Phoenix. Okay. Quack, same thing. Yeah, it's different here. I'm back. My dogs love their pineapple snack time. Good to have you back, JN. Kurt Singer says every episode Seinfeld. Yeah, exactly. Blade Hobby says, I live in Southern Florida, so my carry doesn't change due to weather. It's always hot here. Okay. All right. So here's my secondary question to you, lucky folks living in Florida and Southern California. Does that mean you carry light knives all the time, or is weight just not an issue because the weather's always the same, so you don't think about that? I mean, I'm just curious. Blade Ogre says the auto has no holes. Okay, I bought the Stonewash G10 version on White Mountain Knives. It feels great in hand and has great action for a thumb stud knife. Yeah, they also have a really cool cigar cutter that I saw at their table at Blade Show, and very cool guys, and just seems to be an excellent outfit altogether. Let's see. Love the holes because it makes a more unique looking. The knife is not too heavy either. Oh, good. Yeah, just cool. I mean, just has that razor. Potato. Yes, patata. Yes. Okay, so let's do this giveaway, shall we? We have before us a Finch Devil's Finger. Comes in this beautiful red 154 cm with a grinder satin. It also comes DLC coated with dark British Racing green micarta handles. And that is the one we are giving away on this very same night. All right. So I've talked about this a bunch of times. You've got caged bearings. You've got 154 cm. You've got a saber grind. Really, really nicely textured. What do you call it? Canvas micarta. You got a liner lock with weight relief on those liners. You can see those holes. You've got the really cool luminous badge with a tip of the hat, not only to a side watch business from the same guys, but also the old school, of putting a badge on a knife like the old knives did. Lots about this to love. You can swap the wire clip to the other side. You've got flow-through construction, very nice jimping, excellent action. And one thing I love about the Finch knives, here's another example of it, is I love their low-profile flipper tabs, because not only do they not extend out that far from the dorsal side of the knife, but they also act as little ramps. They're like the inverse of a choil. Instead of an area that's cut away, it's like a little area that's extra with some jimping on there, and really makes for a great grip. So the Devil's Finger was their newest, and then they just dropped the cherry bomb. So, I mean, they've got fertile minds, and they're coming up with design after design. And I know that they have a schedule for production, and they're not blowing it all in one fell swoop. But these two came out pretty much hot on the heels of one another, and they're similar style knives. The Cherry Bomb is just a lot smaller. This is a 3-inch blade. Again, 154 cm. So let's check out. This is the giveaway for the Gentleman Junkie. That is our highest level of support on Patreon. That's TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon. That's how you can get there quickest. We have a $3. That's the traditional junkie. We have the $5. That's the tactical junkie support level, and then the $10. Which is the Gentleman Junkie level. And on that level, you get entered into this monthly, what do you call it? Thingy. Sorry for totally zoning out. Knife giveaway. And we have some pretty cool knives. We give away some pretty cool knives, and they pretty much just follow whatever I'm into in that moment. So, well, I'm always into finches, and just got this finch recently and wanted to share the love. So let's get the, we've got all of our Gentleman Junkies right there up on the Wheel of Destiny. And Jim, what do you say? Let's spin that sucker and find out who wins the Finch Devil's Finger. All right. Starting to slow down. Could it? It is indeed Mr. Fileto. Nice. Mr. Fileto, congratulations. You are the winner of the new Finch Devil's Finger. It will go greatly in your amazing collection. And it almost feels like maybe this is karma, because you just recently gave me a knife for my birthday, one that I had wanted and missed out on. And then you loaned me those Winklers to check out. It seems like the universe is coming back pretty quickly to pay you back. So, Mr. Fileto, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being a Gentleman Junkie. And thanks for being a part of the Knife Junkie podcast. So this is going to you, man. Well, not this one, the black and green one. Going right to you. Thank you, Mr. Fileto. Thank you. All right. Well, that's always exciting. I love the third Thursday of every month, because that's when we do this giveaway. And it feels good to give away a knife and just get it out into the hands of people, into the listeners out there, especially one that has been here for a while, or the one that I've had an opportunity to experience, like this Devil's Finger. Love it. It's awesome. So let's talk about your EDC. If it doesn't change, let me ask you about this. And I just saw North Code was just up, and I know he carries implements like the Quill and like the Dick Pick from Wingard Wearables and other type pokey things. Now, let's talk about picks for a second. And this is something that is I feel is going to work its way into my EDC. And I have a feeling it will only be a winter thing because it's an extra weight. But I'm a little bit fascinated right now these days with the preponderance of picks out there. Like I said, Wingard Wearables, their new one is called the Dick Pick. But you know, you look at tons and tons of fixed blade knife makers on Instagram, and they all have their sort of picks. Well, I just, like I mentioned before, got a number of knives from Roughrider just to check out different patterns I didn't have, and I wanted a mariner's knife. Yeah, exactly. Dick Pick. It fits right in the holster fits right in your crotchal area, I guess. So funny, kind of a funny name there. But so I got this nautical mariner's knife, and called a Marlin Spike, and I think I'm going to start carrying it for the Marlin Spike. Now, Marlin Spike is locking. So you have this blade. It's just a sheep's foot blade, and I got to say, if I can't break this in with oil, I'm returning it, because the action on this blade is atrocious. But the action on this is quite nice, and this is your Marlin Spike, and it locks out. So, and how you put it back in is just by taking this clasp and unlocking it by pushing down. But what's this for? This is for untying really nasty knots. So those spikes, the spikes on a marlin spike are to, are used by sailors because there are a lot of ropes and knots in sailing. And with all the tension and stuff, if you can't undo it by hand, you're going to need something to pry in there to get between the loops and stuff. I do appreciate a nice marlin spike, says Snuzz Nuzz. I think I do too, but I don't think this is a very nice one because this damn blade, it feels, I swear, man, it's like rock against rock in that pivot. I'm going to see what I can do. But I feel myself moving into a little phase, a couple of marlin spikes. I'm sorry, Jim, can you go back to a Blade Freak real quick? You're going to start getting into deep sea fishing. Yeah. Just for the knives. Hollywood Tactical says, I have 2 marbles nautical knives, marlin spikes, and I use them nearly every day to open knots on my waistband. No way. You could also use it like a self-defense pick. That's what I'm getting at. You have all these people and makers using and making little picks for self-defense. Why not use a marlin spike and have some more utility with that knife on it? I think it could be cool to start integrating these into my carry. Hawaii Knife and Gear says, I have a 7-inch triangular spike, but it's mostly used for opening coconuts. That sounds incredibly menacing, I gotta say. Great for untangling Christmas lights. Outstanding. I didn't think of that. I did not think of that. Again, you have white smooth bone, which I love. Good evening, Alex. It's great to see you here, sir. How are you doing, man? Just talking about this marlin spike and how I just like them. K Mason says, I just found out about Wingard recently. I think there might be a smith near me. I think there might be one of their smiths. Okay, yeah, they use a bunch of different smiths across Pennsylvania for their different wares. I don't have mine around, but I have a couple of their things, and man, I cannot wait for the Stingray Tomahawk to come out. I'm going to be all over that. Kevin Moore, good to see you, Kevin Moore. That is a beautiful knife. Which one? Which one? Like, you can just answer me. I think you're talking about this, and I agree. They're used to puncture a fish's brain as well. Oh, really? That makes sense. Let's put it out of its misery. Stop it from flopping around on the deck. If Hinderer made one, I'd buy it, says Brant. Yes, I know. Imagine how cool that would be, too. A Hinderer marlin spike would be way cool. If Hinderer made a toaster, you would buy it, even if you're allergic to bread. I cannot disagree with you, JN. I cannot disagree at all. Hollywood Tactical says, I EDC a hobo knife and camping utensils in my backpack too. Maybe you don't like plastic utensils because in order to reduce material, they have odd and intricate ridges and buttresses. Yeah, no, I just don't like them that they exist. It's kind of like tape. When everything was on tape and before digital media, it made me nervous knowing how many tapes there were in the world and how if you unfurled them all, how many miles of tape there would be of useless crap. So that's kind of how I feel. Byron said, they're great for making drinks. Oh, yeah. All right. I like how you think, man. Very nice. Yeah. So if you want to come on and actually literally join the conversation, go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/join, turn your camera towards you, and let's talk. Let me know what you're carrying today. I'm thinking marlin spike starts making its way into my EDC. Of course, since it's winter, I'm going to start carrying a few more of these, got to get the fixed blades out because now my vests and sweater, just kind of like Dave was saying, I can do this. Here's my Ron Steele designed prime double edge drop point. Such a nice knife. Did a great podcast, great interview with him. That's up this week. Ron Steele of Ron Steele Designs. Thanks to Tier 1 Gear Reviews. I know about this guy, Ron Steele, and his work because Justin sent me a bunch of his knives to check out. And man, That's all you need sometimes, is to get something in hand and know that a design that you've looked at and admired just in pictures, and then to feel it, forget it. You can be hooked from then on. Blade Freak carried my XM Bowie today as a farewell to my Fullard spear. That's moving. that just, Bryce, that brings a tear to my eye, man. But believe me, I know what you're talking about. That fellow there says, in Central California, our winter is mostly an extended autumn. With the leaves changing, I like to carry traditional with amber bone handles and heavier knives. All right, so he's obviously talking my language. The amber bone, I love it. Okay, so my brother left I see the winter beard is back like last year. Yep, every year, man. It's making its way back on. My wife calls it Lars, her winter husband, coming off the mountain. I carried my Hinderer Emmett for winter time. Nice. I'm not surprised. Damn, what was I saying? I was saying my brother left a comment on my recent podcast, talking about the different trappers I have. And I kept talking about bone, and I like this bone, and I like that bone, and this. And my brother's like, oh, this talk of bone, Bob. Who's writing your scripts? I think you need to fire him. And if you knew my brother, never misses an opportunity to be crude. Love you, Vic. Blade Hobby says, never thought of carrying a spike as a self-defense option. Interesting, says Blade Hobby. I had a friend in high school, have a friend, as he's still my friend, but I haven't seen him in a long time. His dad was kind of a quiet guy and interesting. And he said, I carry an ice pick with me, kind of like Jim. Carry an ice pick because I figure I can jam it into someone's gut and then tell them they have 30 minutes to get to the emergency room. And I'm like, that stuff doesn't happen in the suburbs. Snuz says, it's always fixed blade weather for me, Bob. I like how you think, sir. Yeah. I like how you think. Mr. Fileto, evening all. Had the Remy Laville L'Ultra Fort in my pocket today. That sounds expensive. Something I like to EDC more in the winter is a SOG multi-tool. Well, guess what, Mr. Fileto? Since you're late in joining us, you will also have a Finch Devil's Finger to EDC, because you won the Finch Devil's Finger tonight in the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway. So I will be sending that out to you on Saturday or Monday. Dick pic is a decent pry bar. Yeah, it looks like a really nasty sort of punch weapon that has some ancillary uses. Like, it looks like it'd be great at opening a paint can, just using the handle part. Caleb, my EDC for winter doesn't change that much. Cargo jeans all year round. I gotta say, there is part of me that admires these people like Caleb in Texas, or I think you're in Texas. Guys on the West Coast, and the weather never changes. They don't have to think about these things. This is just one more trial, one more tribulation of folks like me living on the East Coast. Got to think about these things. How does our identity change with the weather? James says, neither tasks that require knives nor attire changes much throughout the year here, Bob. A jacket is used more often in winter. That's about it. Well, man, I mean, I got to say, part of me really thinks that I would be in much better shape if there were like that here. And if it was perpetual summer, I mean, part of me thinks that sounds really nice. Another part of me is like, I've always grown up with extreme seasons, so it's what I know. Jan says, I end up eating at midnight on Thursdays because of KJ. Better go start cooking tonight's fare. Chili. If you've never made chili with bacon in it, why not? And B, you ought to try it. That sounds pretty good, man. I went through a really big bacon period, and there would always be leftover bacon in the fridge, and I would frequently cut it up into really small pieces and throw it into whatever I was making, so everything would have this lovely bacony flavor. It was awesome. Well, cheers. Hope you make a wonderful chili. And yeah, what's this ditch pick, Jim? No, I really was talking about the Wingard wearables. Now I'm looking up at an alien.
Sorry about
Hollywood Tactical. How's it going, sir?
Good. Sorry about that. I was looking for the Tops Micro Hawk because you had mentioned that you wanted to see it, and of course now I can't find it, which goes to show you how many I just have too many knives, and
yeah.
Consider I have multiple boxes of small hatchets.
Multiple. So okay, so if you had to put a number on your collection, what would it be? Hey, Kraken, good to see you here.
I long ago lost count at 300, so I suspect 400 to 500 range, and it's kind of one of those in denial things. I really don't want to know. I know I'm going to do it one day just so I can know how bad the damage is. But also, as you know, I mostly am budget anyway. So, I love like really, really, really budget gear because I think today's budget gear is our childhood's pretty decent gear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree, definitely.
Has just gone up so considerably that.
Wait. Blade Freak says my carry doesn't change for winter at all, and I live in Minnesota. Haha. Maybe I'll keep a fixie in the jacket this year just for you, Bob. I think you should, Bryce. I think you should, and I'm betting you agree, Tactical. I mentioned to Wingard Wearables, his Mini Hawk is also a pipe tomahawk. That can be a thing? Yeah, I think he was looking at seeing how to do that. Snuzz. Hollywood, there is no such thing as too many. What you have just enough. Could use a couple more, he says.
I mean, I'm gonna make another order soon too, sadly.
What are you getting?
Some more budget knives, I'm more into fixed blades and hatchets these days.
Okay. What company? What are you looking at for fixed blades?
Well, I can show you my Blade Show West acquisition. This is the Tops X. Let me say it right. It's a tongue twister. SXB.
Oh,
it's the Skull Crusher Extreme Blade. I wanted to check out that sort of. I mean, do you even call that a recurve? What the hell do you call that? I know that the Tom Brown Tracker made that a thing.
Yeah.
And the thing that made me curious about that was the Dutch bushcraft knives. They tested the Tom Brown Tracker. And when you pull up on that, it creates these tiny little curly feathers.
Yes.
So apparently, I mean, there's obviously a lot of thought that goes into these designs, and I kind of wanted a that whole one tool option, which is I'm not taking it that serious, but if I really let's face it, I live in California. Literally, ever since I was a child, they've been telling us the big one is due. The big one is due. So, one day I'm going to have to chop my way out of some, fallen building that I'm in, right? And if I had to have one tool, what would it be? And so this is now officially my bed knife. So I keep this. I used to have like a hatchet, and I kept the cold steel, the survivalist. What's that? The drop forge survivalist for a while. Again, if most of these big earthquakes happen when we're still asleep, so if I have to chop my way out, right. I mean, this is basically a crowbar. You're gonna have to, if you have to pry open a door, etc. So,
Blade Freak says, pulling up feathering is a decent perk, but I'd say it's about it for that giant axe. What I was going to say is that I saw a video, and I'm trying to remember where it was, but it was someone showing off. It was one of the custom knife makers I follow, and they made a little one-off knife, and it was a little utility knife, probably about 4 inches, but it had that little extreme curve part halfway down the blade, like on your knife there, and he was using that little tight curve. He was drawing it forward and getting these crazy little curls. I think that's what you're talking about. And then he hit it with a striker or with a ferro rod and got fire.
I believe Topps now has one of their little mini EDC blades has that now too. They have they're sort of adding it into some of their smaller knives. They have a smaller version of this now called the SXS. They have the smaller version of this. They have the mini version of the Tom Brown tracker.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have one more. I can't remember this. It's a really small fixed blade. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Hey,
I mean,
it's like Kraken says.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's like Kraken says, curls get the girls, baby. That's right. All those girls, they're all like, let me see your feather stick. I want to see how well you feather stick. And
no,
then
I always have to wait to tell them, like, yeah, by the way, I have a knife obsession.
Yeah, right. I can't do anything with them. I just collect them. But
yeah. I mean, I long ago no longer needed. I mean, which is kind of why I chose to invest in this, because this offered a bunch of stuff that I didn't have. One of the other things I was going to point out is that one of the features, also, I'm a sucker for micarta. If it has micarta, I will probably just buy it anyway. But it has this, which is not actually a saw blade. It's for notching. So if you need to create like a deadfall trap or, 10 stick, whatever, I mean, that's actually a pretty important tool. And then to use this instead of wearing out any of your edge, trying to fiddle around making that notch, this will give it that exact right 90, right. A notch is a notch. Nothing else it suffices to be a notch except a notch, right? I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but
no, I know exactly what you mean, especially for traps and stuff where you're making something mechanical. Sean M says you need to get a Schrade old timer sharp finger. I need to get a sharp finger. I need a sharp finger.
I do have a knockoff of the sharp finger. It's made by Bone Collector. And it comes in kind of like a nice leather sheath, so it was a Chinatown buy, but anyway.
Chad from before said that because of me, he's bought 8 Roughriders. I've been we're talking budget knives. I love the Roughrider slip joint knives. Rusty says my wife rolls her eyes at my knife fascination, but she knows where to go to get a sharp knife. Exactly. Exactly.
It's true. People make fun of my knife thing, and then the minute they need something cut, they're like, "Hey, can you do this?"
Yeah.
Like I always know you have a knife on you.
Bob has a knife. Yeah.
I'll just show you. People probably want to see. This is the Blade Show exclusive ProTech Malibu. I got number 76 of 100. Nice. Patriotic 76.
Yeah.
What they added was it's all blacked out, and they have this beautiful mosaic button. Do you see that? I don't know. Can you tell?
I can't see that it's mosaic, but oh yeah. I saw it when it came real close. Yeah.
Okay. It's very, 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 very beautiful. And then of course, you know what the action is like. Still not sure why everybody loves this over the Mordax. I mean, I like the Mordax. This is more of a kind of just a traditional blade shape. It's kind of a more substantial blade. I'm kind of conservative. I like very basic. Don't get me wrong. I like this blade shape too, but not as my primary. This is for specialized cases. And obviously I have plenty of blade shapes like this as well.
Yeah,
but still not quite sure. Some people say that the action is a little bit better because it's smaller. I don't know.
I have wanted that Mordax for a long time.
Yeah, some people say that the Mordax grind is way too thick.
Yeah, I was gonna say Mordax reground would be sweet. And
Right.
I
Everyone says
only
it's too thick.
say that because yeah, that's what I've heard. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't have the knife.
I've cut cardboard with it. It cuts fine, you know.
Hey, what do you think of the Monterey Bay knives? Do you have any of those?
I don't. I flipped some of. I visited their booth. The thing is, and someone else can tell me. My big mission in the knife world is.
Well, he was just about to say what his big mission in the knife world is, and now he left me on tenterhooks. I don't know what the hell he was about to say. So I want to know. But what were you
Okay.
about to say?
My big mission is, so as you can see, I love button locks, right?
Mhm.
I love button locks. I love the crossbar lock, the accessible, etc. lock. I just today bought the steel will Tasso, which has
Oh yeah.
uh, sort of what they call the ant lock, which is
Mhm.
essentially a back lock, but they got real clever with how you actuate it. I'm curious about any kind of lock that keeps your fingers out of the path of the blade, right? I
Yeah.
cannot understand why in today's day and age people are still making liner and frame locks. I just do not get it.
Well,
So that's why. Go ahead.
what don't you get exactly?
I mean, because the liner lock. Let me see. Let me look for one. I mean, I've got a million of them. I mean, the crossbar, or I mean, excuse me, the liner or the frame lock puts tension on the detent ball on the tang of the blade, so it impedes its
No.
action,
Uh-huh.
and then B. Oh, I'll show you my Purvis Zerks, right? Um, so I have the A Purvis. This is kind of my priciest knife, right? Um, oh, I also don't get titanium. Somebody explain
Oh.
that to me. Right? When you
Oh
can have,
God, that's
okay, so
nice.
it's a beautiful knife. I mean, literally everything about it is great. The milling on this is very like fine.
Mhm.
It's so well done. It's very subtle yet extremely grippy, right?
Mhm.
The fit and finish is just perfect, right? And these nice little touches, that purple pivot collar is a nice little touch. You know, beautiful grind. It's also got a compound grind, so you've got your
Oh yeah.
hollow and then your flat, right? And it's slightly trailing point, so it gives it a nice big belly. I mean, everything is perfect, but in the end, it's a frame lock, right? So the action on this, I don't know how to describe it. It's so buttery smooth. I mean, it is so, I don't know how to say it. It feels different than any other knife I've had in that it's both smooth yet um, durable. I'm not sure exactly how to describe it.
And yeah.
It's very unflimsy on its way down. As
Yes.
smooth as it is, there's 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 zero tolerance. I don't want to say zero tolerance, but it's just, it seems to be machined utterly perfect, right? The problem is because of that frame lock pushing in on the tang, it still takes, a half shake,
Uh-huh.
but purely only because the frame lock is putting tension on the tang. And in order to release it, I gotta put my thumb in the blade path. The fact that we have many different lock types aside from this now, why have we not moved on? And I think it's because it's a hell of a lot easier to make a liner lock or a frame lock than it is the intricacies of a plunge lock and the amount of whatever, I don't know, how do you describe pressure, like joules, I don't know, whatever, like the amount of
Right, right.
energy that's created, by a plunge lock. It has to be manufactured a certain kind of way that is not the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But and now you've got the compression lock has come out of patent. I would have imagined every single production company should have, like, literally the minute, right at midnight, when the compression lock patent ran out, every single production company should have had 2, 3, 4 models hit the shelves.
I don't
What
think
are they doing?
I like the compression lock, fine, but I don't think it's. I don't know. I guess it's debatable as to whether it's stronger, but certainly don't think it's a superior user experience to a frame lock. No, I don't, because of where the lock is located. You know.
Oh, okay. Well, the reason I go ahead.
Hey, John. Good to see you, sir.
How's it going?
Good.
So the compression lock, right?
Yeah.
Again, it keeps it out of the path. B, it increases the the fidgetness and the drop shuttiness or whatever. And also, as I understand it, the way the compression lock works is it is in fact stronger than the liner lock, because it's essentially captured, that there's nowhere for it to go. So I've heard it argued that the compression lock is in fact stronger, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's the thing about when you're using the compression lock is you're holding on to I'm sorry, I don't have one around me right direct, but you're holding the knife like this. You've got a minimal, yes, I know you can. And then if you're a lefty, it's a serious, I don't know. John, what do you think? We're talking about Hollywood Tactical is saying, in this day and age, why have we not moved past these horribly dangerous locking mechanisms where we need to get our thumb in the way of the blade? And of course, I'm being facetious, but oh wait, hang on. Before you answer that question, there was an interesting comment I want to address that Jim just had up. Hey brother, when I see different guys doing the same blades with the same material and some take no damage and others fold, is it in the heat treat? I would say yes. I would say, all things being equal, it's in the heat treat. Of course, all things are not going to be equal. But if you have, I think, how they say, and I think you were also mentioning that you've been watching a lot of Forged in Fire. And they always say the soul of the blade is in the heat treat. And, to a great extent, that's true. I know a lot of people get burned up when they spend a lot of money on M390, and then they come to find out that it's not heat treated any better than your $420, So John, how you doing, man? And let's get your way in on the old compression lock.
So first, forgive the dog if you hear that barking in the background.
That's all right.
My neighbors have yet to bring them in, but nonetheless, it's either Mexican blanket me or this is it, or a dog. The compression lock, I think it's pretty snazzy. It's fidgety. It's nice. I don't think it's superior. I don't think it's subpar. I think it's a good middle ground. It's a newer lock. That's cool. I don't have a favor towards it specifically. I think it's pretty snazzy. But as far as a safety mechanism, yeah, that's nice. It just, I don't know. It doesn't do it for me.
Gotcha. So what were you carrying today? It looked like you had the Spartan Harsey. Let's see that sucker.
Yeah.
So how do you like this folder?
Oh, I love it. It's weird. So I got it after I had purchased a Hinderer, and I had an XM18 that you've seen, and then I also had my OC. So this is that knife that's in between the two. This is like an XM24 married Sabenza.
Yes.
This is that fixed. So I don't have the desire to look for an XM24 just because this happens to do it for me.
Right.
This is that 4-inch blade, and it's got that sturdy lock-like material that the XM would have. And it does it.
We're having a hard time hearing you, man. Snuzz was saying that.
Sorry about that.
No, that's all right.
Can you get closer to your microphones?
Yeah.
You're a little far. And and you said you weren't quite sure.
Yeah.
Bob, about the
Smock.
the lack of the smock and the lack of ambidextrousness to the compression lock. Here's your solution. So I guess this guy Smock was modifying these on his own. Spyderco found out, and they said, "Hey, want to make your own design?" And so I guess this is what he was doing for people, inserting this kind of button lock into that. I know that there are people who mod left-handed PM2s or left-handed compression locks with this same type of setup. So there's your solution, the Smock design. And I'd love to see everyone doing this as well. And I know you said you're not quite sure. It is odd looking, but I love this as well. As you can see, I sharpened a pencil with it. I don't know. Can you see those marks?
I cannot, but I know how. I know what pencil does. I mean, it is a beautiful blade. I just think the handle's a little goofy. It looks like a lot of empty space on that handle to me, especially forward to the choil. James says more plunge locks would be great. Button actuated compression locks would be nice if it didn't compromise the handle and blade design. Smock. Sneck's super lock is like a compression lock perfected.
I don't know what the Sneck's super lock is, but what he's saying is, see that non-finger choil.
Yeah,
that's because they had to do that because of that button actuated compression lock. They had to compromise on, and people hate that, and so a lot of people get their Smock modified to make that an actual finger choil.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oof, Dexter likes shark lock.
Okay,
yes.
and this is not the actual one. This is the 20.5. Of course, that's in my budget range. A lot of people are saying, is it worth the money? Sure, for the materials, but for the shark lock alone, I say it's more than worth it, because you've heard it here first, even though I'm not the first to say it. This is the next biggest, greatest thing to hit knives since the Crossbar Lock. I don't know, or better. This might be the greatest lock invented yet. I suggest it probably is, because I don't know if you know, it essentially is the triad lock. Do you know the evolution of the shark lock?
Yeah.
It's basically how his triad lock evolved over time, starting with a back lock, then the scorpion lock, and then once he came out the scorpion lock, he realized he can move that whole mechanism up all the way up to here, whole as in with a W. He can move the whole assembly up here, and so now you've basically got a triad lock, except right up in the perfect place. I'm pretty sure that this is going to be that when this patent runs out, by then I hope every manufacturer only makes this lock.
Rusty said his AD20 is his very favorite knife. Absolutely love some AD20, as do I. Here's mine. I'm just showing it off. Gotta put it up in front of the camera. It's like putting on my high heels and strutting around. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that out loud. Look at that. Yeah, I love that.
And so do you get to choose the color, or is that custom? How did you get that color? Is it a burgundy? Is it a wine?
No, yeah, this is Lavender Pants 86, who is a viewer, sent me a text saying that they had 6 AD20s at his local River's Edge Cutlery, and he sent me a picture. None of them had been bought yet. What do you want? I'll buy it and then reimburse. And so I said, Bob and heels, says Jan. So I asked him for this burgundy one, and yeah, it's like a deep dark red. I also prefer it without the hole in the blade. I feel like the hole in the blade is not extremely useful, and it makes the blade look shorter, to my eye, and messes with the blade to handle ratio, which is so important. But really, such a great knife. I really love this thing. And I got the 20.5 with the shark's foot, but I kind of wish I got the clip point again. I really like his clip point.
I'll trade you if you want.
But then again, there's something about the variety. I don't know. I have to think about it.
I'm not sure yet either. I mean, this is more or less my favorite blade shape because I'm boring and old.
Yeah.
But I always try to go as small as a knife can go, because I'm curious about how efficient you can be with space and design.
Oh yeah. Blame Dexter says, I suck at thumb stud knives, so hole helps me. And then the one before that, Byron was saying that he'd like to see the Shark Locks or the next 80 20.5, I believe, in better steel. I hear you, Byron, but for the cost and for having it foreign made, but having it made in Taiwan, I think that AUS 10 will have to do. And I got to say, the AUS 10 has been good for me so far. Some say the Shark Lock is Demco's version of the Snex Super Lock, says James Moore. Or perhaps the Snex Super Lock is his version of the Demco Shark Lock. Discuss amongst yourselves.
I'm gonna have to check out that Snex Super Lock. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, I mean his work is so cool. I mean, he used to do a lot of documentation on Instagram of his various custom builds. It was always really impressive. Yep. So I want to talk. I just want to. So have you guys seen this new Alan Fultz knife that they're going to be coming out with? CRKT is going to come out with. You know Alan Fultz. He's the custom
the
knife
minimalist
maker. Yeah.
Yeah. I have 3 minimalists.
I love the minimalist.
Yeah, this is the SMKW version, where because
nice.
one of the biggest complaints about the CRKT Fultz is that it's 5 CR. Which is wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
So SMKW, for not much more, has 2 versions: a satin and this black stonewash. This is D2 with micarta scales.
Oh, nice.
So, and yeah, it's a genius design, but I forgot what his new one is. Could you remind me?
Yeah, it's called the what are they calling it? It's got a weird name, but it's a folder and it's called the Fox, like Guy Fawkes, FAWKES. And it's a little sub 3-inch, it's a 2.74-inch clip point. It's really cool. I wish it were bigger. I think it'd look even better. I think it'd be a lot cooler, but it's just a really good looking knife. Total EDC flipper. It's got a reversible deep carry clip. It's got IKBS, which is a buzzkill when you take them apart, man. But they work well, so that's good. D2 steel. So I don't know. What do you think of this knife? It's kind of cool, right?
Beautiful. Yeah, it looks beautiful. Looks nice and stabby. Love the orange color. Super light.
I really like the blade style. I don't like.
Sorry, say that again, John.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I really like that blade shape, but I'm just not digging that handle.
I like the contours of the handle, and I like the jimping on the pommel. I'm not. The profile of it I like. AUS 10 outperforms a lot of M390, S35 VN, and 20 CV, says Sean Gables. I wouldn't be surprised if they were with the, even Kubi's AUS 10 is good, says Shane. A lot of it has to do with that heat treat, it does. So, Hollywood, are you a CRKT fan? I know you talk about your budget.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I agree that for the price and materials, it's definitely overpriced, especially considering today's competition from the Civivis, et cetera, of the world, which are offering as good, probably better fit finish production, action, et cetera, and materials. But what I like, I say this on my channel all the time, what I like about CRKT is they do stuff way different that nobody else is doing. And for a big company like that to be that adventurous, I say good on them. And I keep my mind open. Again, they knocked it out of the park with this. They knocked it out of the park with their CEO, which I put away. But the CEO always gets my gentleman. Every time I wear a suit, that CEO goes right in my breast pocket. It's a perfect gent carry. I've said this on, I think your last show I was on too, is nobody does GFN, FRN, GFN as well as CRKT. They make it look like carbon fiber. In fact, before I got the CEO, for some reason I had assumed it was some sort of like peel ply, whatever that thin carbon fiber. They do a foot, and then just recently I got another CRKT that does a fantastic on there, even though it's a material I don't like. And here's an example. They have the Fox, as in Guy Fawkes, right?
Yeah.
The guy who was tortured to death after they. Anyway, there's an interesting story there, how he tried to blow up Parliament, and they could have gotten away with it if, anyway. They blew the whistle on themselves. They decided to contact one member each, and one of them was married to an MP, and so they got ratted out. And that's why they failed in blowing up Parliament. But this is the BT Fighter. This is the compact version. The regular BT Fighter is a Tonto. The compact is this drop point, which is a blade shape again I like better. But I mean, look at what they did with the GR, or with the GRN.
Yeah,
nobody does it better. And this has got pretty decent action. Hey,
Bryce.
How's it going?
Good, man. Good to see you.
Yeah.
What were you carrying today? Oh wait, hang on. Finish that thought. Tactical.
I would have never experienced a huge number of custom designers if it weren't for CRKT and also Kershaw. But CRKT introduced me to so many people. The IKBS is invented by Fabio Ikoma, a Japanese Brazilian guy, and his CRKT Fossil is one of the most beautiful knives I own.
Oh yeah, that is a great knife. Speaking of great knives, Bryce was carrying his Battle Black Bowie.
Yep, this one survived.
M18. Man, that's a nice knife.
I guess I'm just bonded with this one. I don't know. So the Fuller was sexy, right? And probably more practical because you could actually use the forward choil better. But
maybe, but that Bowie is just sweet, man.
I've bonded. That's just what it came down to.
So the two of you represent two different kinds of collecting. I was talking to Hollywood Tactical before. He's got numbers that he doesn't even consider, and you, Bryce, are a disciplined collector.
I have my entire collection right now on my mouse pad.
On your mouse pad, it is amazing.
And I'm gonna sell 2 of them this week.
What are you selling?
This guy, which you haven't even seen yet.
Oh wait, that's a Alpha Hunter Tactical?
Yes, it is. This is the Hoback.
Oh wow.
Fantastic design. It really is.
That is pretty cool, man. You don't see those too often.
No, that's pretty rare.
Doesn't that flipper get in the plane of the flat? Like if you're cutting, do you know what I mean?
Oh, that never bothers me. Actually, when I'm cutting with this, like I just cut an apple with this one today. So what I do, this is why I like Tantos so much, because I just shove it down.
Okay.
I just chop cut things. I don't really ever have an issue. I guess I'm just a He-Man like that. I don't know. I just shove the Tanto into the apple and it splits open.
Cut.
Can you show the blade stock on that? Because it looks.
Yeah, it's thick, but So here's the thing about this one though. So the top is thick, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just for the notch for the opening.
Oh.
It's actually pretty thin down here. Like I don't know how to show that really. You kind of see that. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a full-on ridge coming off the top.
Yep, it's not bad.
That is pretty cool. How long have you had that one?
Couple weeks.
Okay, so
a couple weeks and you're selling it.
It's a catch and release.
See, you know how much I love Hoback. It's just I carried this one for those 2 weeks straight almost.
Professor,
and I thought I loved it, right? I do. It's a great knife. Everything about it's awesome. But then I went and I was just like, all right, I'll just carry this guy for a day. And I was just like, oh, Yeah, this one's way better. So this
So
is
you
the
said
better hoback.
you said you were selling 2 knives this week. What else are you selling? That's a good one. That's a good one. That's an en belay. Is that what that's called?
It's the infraction.
Infraction. I can never remember that. Hey, Brant, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Yep.
Since Blade Freak showed Jake Hoback.
Is that the Husky?
That is the Husky.
Man, that's a looker.
Hobacks right now have taken control.
Well,
don't worry.
You lucky.
I will have your Hoback back at
this is the Hoback. I'm just gonna say
That's
it.
The Quakin.
This is the Quayback, the Monkey Edge version.
Let's see the skills.
Let me get that close up.
Oh, I love that.
If it looks like a pocket eater, it is.
Wow, it does.
Coming out of the pocket's not because of the curves.
Yeah.
Going in
here's what's interesting. Why is the blade canted slightly up from the handle? See what I mean?
It's just design. Honestly, what I found though, because this is by far, after all the time I've been in the knife game, this is my number 1 design, and it's just completely ergonomically neutral. You can do anything with it, and then going up here, like because it has that upward cant, this has some serious leverage to it. So I just dig it, and I dig how far it has to travel when it flips. It feels great. I don't know, something about it just flags.
Yeah, there is a slightly different feel to that knife.
Yep.
Just in the one that you loaned me.
And it's so thin in the pocket. I don't know. It's just great. Great knife.
Keeps the handle out of the plane of the handle. So, Brand, what were you carrying today, buddy?
Well, today I was actually carrying my skinny. I've been carrying this a lot lately.
Oh yeah,
I love the skinny.
So, do you find that in Texas down there, does your EDC change with the seasons, or is it just the same all the time for you down there?
Yeah, I mean it depends. Like if it's like getting colder, I'll start wearing my 511 pants and then start using this.
That's a pretty knife, man.
This is my favorite. Rick just put out another hot drop of these today, or yesterday. Yeah.
Yep.
I love the Hinder Emmett. It's my favorite one.
He had that run where he made a batch himself too.
Yep, I have that one. This is one of them.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Got his signature and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Blade Freak, I met him. So I mean,
nice.
Met him. Yep. You're making a knife for the man.
I know. Really. I am making a knife for him.
How's that working out?
You paid off his mortgage.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He loves you, man. But I have to be honest. That's a weird way to start the sentence. Really, I'm lying all the time, and right now I'm going to be honest and say, no, I think it'd be really cool to be a knife maker, like a Rick Hinderer, for instance, and have people like you or like Edwin for Emerson, who just has like the ultimate collection. Because in a way, as a knife maker, you're not making these knives to hold on to. You're making them to put out into the world. Mm-hmm. So you're making them and they're leaving.
Yeah, so someone's keeping them safe, right?
Yeah, so to know that someone's got a great collection like yours, Brent, that represents so many different models. I think that would be a thrill, as a maker to have.
Like the Bowie, like this is a Southern Edge exclusive. Like,
excuse me. Yeah, I'm carrying my Eclipse today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Here's another classic for you.
I want to get a micarta scale for this, but I don't need to go spending the money.
That right one.
What's that?
I think he froze.
Oh yeah. I think Blade Freak froze. But yeah, I think I'd like to get a little bit of my Carta action on this.
Something happened, but
Oh, you're still froze, man.
Bum R. Well, he'll be back in with us. We have a knife fight coming up that I don't know. I think that this could be the one. Blade Ogre says, I wear tactical pants and shorts in Texas so I can carry what I want no matter what the season is. That's the spirit.
Heck yeah.
I like the Texas spirit, I got to say.
Yeah, but do you wear tactical socks?
Oh, yeah.
And do you have tactical shoelaces?
I heard a friend of mine called it Ricky Recon. He's like, I don't know. I look a little Ricky Recon today. I
like that.
Yeah, I like it too. So our knife fight tonight, I would like to see. I would like you guys to be involved because Hollywood Tactical. This is CRKT versus Civivi, and this is something we were talking about before.
Okay, I'll take either one.
Okay. All right.
I'll take CRKT because I'm sure no one wants to take that one.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Brant, do you want to be a part of this or do you want to judge?
I'll just judge.
You'll judge. You know what? I'll take CRKT.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to go first or
if you want, it doesn't matter to me.
All right. You go first in 3, 2, 1.
Okay, Civivi, for good reason, has taken over the budget knife world for good reason, in spite of a lot of, if you will, xenophobia against Chinese-made knives. They've still won the hearts and souls of the budget knife community because they're fit and finish, and they're, the production value of their knives is as good as yesterday's premium knives. They have completely changed the game in terms of what we can expect from a budget-made knife, and the materials that they offer also set new standards. Such that Civivi has to beat themselves at their own game and beat their own standards, which they've broken. It's a little bit like a champion Olympian who breaks his own world record over and over and over again. Civivi kills the medium budget range knife game, such that they had to create a new line to really take on the budget because they created a new category for themselves, a category that CRKT fills but didn't know existed. Is that my time?
Yeah, that's your time, and that was good. That was a good one. Blade Freak, how's it going? Made it back.
Yep. I forgot.
Right.
I forgot I moved one of my relays for the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right. Well, I am going to argue for CRKT, and this is if you missed it before, Bryce, this was actually something that came up in conversation organically earlier. And so interesting that our knife fight should be CRKT versus Civivi, and Hollywood Tactical presented a good argument for Civivi, but I'm about to demolish him with my argument for CRKT, which begins in 3, 2, 1. All right. CRKT, Columbia River Knife and Tool, has received a lot of flack over the years from an increasingly snobby knife public. But really what they do is amazing. They are an American company producing knives mostly exclusively out of country, I would say. So they're producing a huge body of work, all in an affordable range, save for like 3 or 4 knives, all within an affordable range, and most of which take on very complex design and build issues for a knife, especially for a knife company that's working at such large scale. They have introduced the world to the work of designers not only in terms of exotic designs like the ones Hollywood Tactical showed before, but also they have also been right there during the generation of some serious innovations, chief among them the IKBS, which they were early adopters of. So all this being said, CRKT brings high design down from the stratosphere to be affordable to the everyday man on the street. Hence, they are superior.
Bob, you forgot the biggest argument.
What's that?
They also invented the flipper. The M16 was the first.
Oh,
flipper
you're
knife.
right. You're right.
Oh.
I've got some Civivis and doubt I'll have a CRKT, says James Moore.
He's a knife snob. He's a knife snob.
Chicago 23. Kaiser has Civivi beaten this year. I think you might be
agree.
right, Chicago.
I agree.
People were writing off Kaiser. I always thought they were good. I always thought they were consistent, man. Gotta say.
I gotta say, all these comments though, you have to remember that I don't see any.
Pardon me.
I don't see any I don't see any Civivis in like Cabela's and the hardware stores, and I don't know. If you go and you just see a random guy with a knife in his pocket, it's probably a CRKT.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. Or a.
But that's because
if it's not a bench
market
shade.
share.
Right.
Yeah,
I was gonna.
Yeah, but they
Kershaw
have a
benchmark.
market share because they're available in Walmart. You know, and
Yeah.
that's where you want to be. And
Yep.
yeah, Civivi doesn't have that kind of marketing yet, but they're also new. CRKT's
I don't
around for so long.
think they ever will, just because they are an
Probably
American
not.
company.
Yeah, and also I think Bob was getting to the point when he said huge body of work. The other thing that CRKT excels at is that the diversity of what they offer is just enormous.
Yeah,
it is.
CRKT Ritual, Nuff said, that wins or loses the fight all by its onesies, right?
Well, it's assisted, which us knife snobs hate. That's the problem.
CRKT can't really keep it together.
That's funny. That is.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I need help.
That's an acronym. That's a good acronym. CRKT.
Columbia River Knife and Tool.
Yeah. Okay.
Can't really keep it together. Yeah.
I want to go back to the good old days though, where we all call CRKT cricket.
Cricket.
What happened to that? Did they just complain one day and we all just rolled over? I don't know.
One of their old logos, they used to start spelling it out. Maybe that's what happened.
Yeah,
there was a point in time where I felt like if they would only change their materials, I'd be all over them. Now, my tastes have changed since then, but you know, when I was a younger man and more adventuresome but when I was more into collecting exotic designs and stuff like that, you know, you were talking about the Fossil. I loved the Fossil. Now to me it's a little over designed and it's not exactly my thing, but I had that knife and had it happily, but I would have kept it for much longer if it had better materials. And by better, I just mean titanium, for the lightness and for just the titaniumness of it, and a better steel other than 8CR. But it had a very thin hollow ground blade, had screaming awesome action, very cool and innovative design.
Yep.
I think, man. And then they do stuff like come out with the Shock for $750. I'm like,
that
what?
was no. I'm glad that flopped.
Never heard of that. Never heard of
exactly. That's a good thing.
Yeah. I think a total misstep, you know, because they came out with the deadbolt lock, which they.
Oh yeah, that's another thing. The deadbolt lock, that's probably as strong as the triad lock because it's got two pins that have to be shorted. Yep. So kind of like I think you were saying it before. You're way more likely to shear the blade stock itself before you shear a pin.
Those two pins.
Which is why,
Yep, that's true.
DJ has an interesting point. CRKT has more interesting variety of designs than samey Civivi. I
absolutely
could not agree with you more. Civivi
is getting boring, which is why they've come out with the 70-second Elementum. Now they even have a fixed blade Elementum, which is beautiful, but they run dry.
They're going down the Boker Burnley Quaken route, where they're going to have a stubby Elementum. They're going to have an airlight Elementum. They're going to have a ice Elementum. CRKT shouldn't use anything less than OS 8, but they do. I don't understand why. OS 8 is seriously affordable material.
I have a theory about
totally.
that. I have a theory about that though, because for the average knife user that you see buying a knife at the hardware store, right? Especially like my grandpa.
Yeah.
Some huntsmen come to mind that I've hunted with. They literally run their knife through a V sharp every time they use it, and they're used to that getting sharp right away every time. And so when they have a knife that doesn't, they think it's bad. Or if they get like a hard knife and it chips and they can't sharpen it right away, they think it's bad. So
they're used to their buck 420 HC.
Yeah.
And that's lasted for generations. You can't poo-poo some of these budget steels.
And you can get those things screaming sharp, man. Yeah.
Well, I think the other thing too is 8CR is more or less supposed to be. I would agree that OS 8 is probably a smidgen better, but they basically on paper are very similar-ish. And the thing is, 8CR is the Chinese version. OS 8 is Japanese. So when you're talking about a company like Gerber, Kershaw, Buck, and these companies, and we complain about their steel, when you're doing Walmart volumes and you save $1 per knife, I mean,
big.
The profit margin, the math speaks for itself, sadly, which is why I think my theory why Gerber uses 7CR17 is because they want that 420 HC effect. They want that super easy sharpenable and ultra high corrosion resistance.
Yep, that too.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Because for
and save $1 per knife.
And for traditional users, traditional meaning people who've traditionally used them in the past, that's what they're used to. They're not used to super steel that you've got to sharpen for 20 minutes.
They're gonna see that steel name and go, yeah, that's good. So they'll buy it again.
Especially a 4 series, a 400 series.
So this one isn't quite budget, but interesting development. I actually broke a spring on it finally.
Oh no!
You see it?
Yeah.
There it is.
So now I only have one
you
spring.
Broke an Omega spring?
Yeah, it actually happened. It happened.
You know how?
I was just flipping it at my desk.
Were you actuating the crossbar with both fingers?
Yes.
Well, do you always?
I always do that. No,
okay, you don't sometimes just use one?
No.
Okay.
I don't do that.
I'm not that. I don't know. I guess. No, I don't ever do that. But I have to say, now that there's one spring in here, the action is significantly better. Like it is. Before, I always used to call it the squishy crunch. The axis lock, I hate it. I hate the axis lock.
Really?
Have
you tried the Hogue's Able lock?
Yep, that's decent. Yep, it doesn't. For some reason, Benchmades, they have this squishy, crunchy feeling, and I hate it. And
squishy, crunchy.
That's what I call it. I call it the squishy crunch. Now that there's only one spring in here, there's no squishy crunch, and the action is good. So I think I'm just gonna leave it.
That's a good looking. That's a good looking bug out there.
I don't know. AWT aluminum scales.
That's advanced weapons technology.
This is why I'm stuck with it.
Yeah, right.
Which, whatever,
Oh, you mean that's your
my
name?
Yep.
That's pretty corny, bro. I'm sorry.
Actually, I originally bought this because it was, decently. I mean, compared to other knives I have, it's cheaper. I bought it for work because it immediately after one walked away from my workbench.
I get it. That sucks.
Yeah, that was awful. And actually, that's a funny story. It was like 6 months later, I saw it in the guy's pocket.
Oh, you son
Did you confront him?
Oh, yeah, of course. That's I don't care about confronting. Absolutely. I made it awkward as hell. And I took it out of his pocket.
What did the guy say?
Well, you couldn't say anything. He kept trying to go on this lie about he found it on Amazon, and I just went, because it was a Hinderer Viper. What is that?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're
Um,
talking about.
Oh, the storm.
The
The
Storm.
Viper
my
Yep.
God.
Yep. And I was like, dude, there's a solid chance that might be the only one in Minnesota.
Right.
It's
He did not
like-
find, and they don't sell those on Amazon anyway. Do
No,
they?
no. I was like, that didn't happen. So I'll take this back.
No.
I actually, what happened was I went home, I cleaned it up because it was awful after 6 months in a machinist's pocket who didn't know what it was. I cleaned it up, and then I actually texted him. I said, "You can buy it from me, though."
Yeah, you fucking. Son
I
of a-
sold it back to him. Yep.
That's
Oh, good.
You know
Yeah,
what's
why not?
funny is that I thought you were talking about a bug out, and I was like, well, there's some plausible deniability with a bug
Yeah,
out because
that's
they're all
common
over
enough.
the place.
Yep.
But man, of a Viper Storm, that's like so random
It's
and obscure.
pretty random and obscure. Yeah. It's just random
Jeez.
enough where I'm just like, yeah, no.
That takes some cojones, man. That's so uncool. Damn. Good grief, Peter. Look at this room full of lunatics. Yeah. It's-
No,
That's
he's a professional therapist. That's an official diagnosis.
Peter, we won't say anything. No one has to know that you just diagnosed 4 of us in one fell swoop of your hand.
That's okay.
DJ says, haha, you have my knife, but you got to pay for it. Yeah, exactly. God, that sticks in my craw.
Considering one of the names is Blade Freak, and we're on the TheKnifeJunkie show.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
And then we just have Brant with us.
Yeah, well, and then
we,
Brett,
we know he's a bit of a lunatic.
Brett bought Hinderer's second home.
Yeah, right. Didn't think I was going to be able to afford this chalet in the Swiss Alps so soon, but there's this guy out in Texas keeps buying my knives. All righty, guys. I think that's going to about do it for tonight.
I think I'm
Thank
going to
you.
go live now.
What's that? You're going to go live now?
Yeah. I think
Oh,
so,
cool.
Barry. Yeah.
So everybody go check out Hollywood Tactical's channel and check out his live feed about to go up. And thank you all for coming and joining us. Make sure you I'm going to be talking to Kambu on Saturday. And so that'll be Sunday's interview. Kambu, Gregor, I can't remember his last name, but famous Polish designer. Has got a bunch of really cool designs that you'll recognize with Best Tech and others. So he'll be the next one. Make sure you join us for that. And join us next Wednesday. Thank you, Blades and Fades. Great to see you here. Join us next Wednesday for the midweek supplemental. And then, of course, right here again for Thursday Night Knives next week. So for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, for Hollywood Tactical, for Blade Freak, and for Hinderer Collector, I am Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't take dull for an answer.